Cheers, everyone. Battle Rankings Live. I'm Joe Lewis, accompanied by my producer and lovely wife, Ann. Say hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
And this is the eighth in the series of what we're doing here at the Battle Rankings to help further your game. And today's subject is Team Yankee British. So we're kind of going to go over them. And we have a special guest, which I'm going to introduce. But the thing is, what I want to do is let you know, we have in North America, we have Team Yankees Masters coming up in the towards the end of June. And so what I want to do is get a couple of the Masters players on here to talk about the army that they've been playing for the last year. I am now going to introduce a player who is right now the number one ranked British player in North America. He's a two-time national champion. He plays for Northern Ireland for the ETC for Flames of War. And here is Keith Gilmore. Say hello, Keith.
Hello, Keith.
Keeping with the tradition. Hey, thanks for coming on. This is gonna be some fun. Now, Keith's been hanging out, so we've been doing some technical stuff. So I haven't told him this. Team Yankee is not my. It's not my strong suit. I really don't know too much about it. I just played a couple games, and so and I really don't know anything about the British. So my questions for him will be more in line of I honestly don't know, so I want to know, and hopefully in my quest for knowledge, Keith will educate me and the audience. Well, first of all, let's begin with a little background. First of all, you are from Northern Ireland.
I am, yes, originally from Northern Ireland. I moved to the U.S. 16 years ago now, to Minnesota.
Excellent. And how long have you been playing Flames of War and Team Yankee?
So I started playing Flames of War in 2009, so 11 years ago. It's a long time.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's about the same time. Was it right towards the end of version 2?
Yep, right around the end of version 2.
Yeah, it's about the same time I started up. That's cool. Well, what's I think everyone wants to know what armies do you own?
Sure. So when I first started playing Flames of War, being from outside the country, one of the guys at the club told me, he said, "Hey, you're from Ireland. What do you know about World War II?" So I said, "Well, let me tell you about what the Irish did in World War II." And from that point, I was collecting British infantry, representing my Irish Guards and the other Irish units that fought really, very well in World War II. And I proceeded to show them what the Irish knew about World War II. So my first army was British Rifle Company. I played them as Irish Guards from the D-Day book that we had at the time. And then Hell's Highway came out. And man, that was my jam. Veteran British riflemen with Sherman tanks. Oh, it was glorious. Glorious. So British all the way up until nearly the end of version 3, that was all I played. For early war, when that came out, I picked up the light Panzers. So a bunch of Panzer 1s and 2s flying around the table. I figured that would be a lot of fun, and it really was. Not the most competitive early war army, but it sure made people worry when they saw all those tanks until they realized they were armor 1. Then it was okay.
Right.
Then with version 4 coming out, I picked up some Germans. So I mid-war, my list is a Eastern Front themed Panzer 3 is my main go-to. And then moving into D-Day, then I have late war Germans, the armored Panzer Grenadiers, with all those lovely Fausts and Schrecks.
Hey, just someone's asking what town in Northern Ireland.
The town is called Omagh. The county is Tyrone.
There you go. I have no idea, but maybe Owen knows. Cool. How long have you been playing competitive?
Almost since the start. My first tournament was Adepticon 2010. So they had a large 2-day tournament, but I didn't play in that one. I played in the small 1-day. It was 800-point tournament at the time, and I just had an absolute blast with it. Mostly because I only had 800 points painted just before the tournament started.
Yeah. Well, was that in the room with the big glass in the side?
Yep.
Man, in fact, I played in that 800 point too. I think I came with Czech Panzers. 800 points worth of Czech Panzers. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my first tournament, and then my second one was Historicon, the Nationals, just a couple months later. So I went to play with the big boys and got royally smacked down there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone begins somewhere, right?
Yep, that's right.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about. I found this picture of Maggie.
Yeah.
It's Margaret Thatcher riding. Well, would you say that was a chieftain?
I believe it's a chieftain.
Okay, yeah, chieftain. And I'll tell you what, she looks like she's having a blast. Okay.
Yeah, why wouldn't she be?
And I think the description of that picture was 1986. So it's kind of apropos for the what we're looking for talking about Team Yankee.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I know she just looks like she has a blast. I'm just like, I wonder who gave her the riding goggles or whatever those are, you know? Yeah.
Safety first, Joe.
I mean, wear these, but yeah, the smile on her face is great, you know. Anyway, all right. Well, let's. What attracted you to this army?
So
British.
So it really was a continuation of my World War II theme, I guess. You know, I'm from Northern Ireland. When I was growing up there, I was in the Army Cadets over there, kind of like a junior OTC, here in the U.S. And my unit there was the Royal Irish Rangers, and they were based in they spent some time based in Germany. So it really was just kind of trying to recreate a little bit of my youth and representing the guys that I knew from there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's cool. Yeah. Well, one day I know a bunch of guys I gamed with back in the late 80s, early 90s who were stationed in Germany, and I know all their stories. I might share some of them with you. Well, with in the, but not today. But anyway, because this is all about British. So one of the things I was going to pop up here is so I took a little screenshot of the from forces. What you kind of just want to give an overview of the forces themselves.
Yeah, so there's a good kind of spread of different forces. If you want to play British, really you've got all the options. You've got the Challengers, which are the super elite, tier 1 MBTs, armored 20 or 21, but very, very expensive. So it's a very, very small list. You've got the Warrior Mechanized Company. That's the other new one that came out with the new book. So they have the Warrior Armored Personnel Carrier, which has a pretty decent gun on it. But it makes the units kind of expensive. So it's kind of yet to be seen whether that's a cost-effective option. The Chieftains are the slightly older tanks, still pretty good, pretty heavily armored. And then you've got the mechanized company, the FE 432, the Irish Guards. Those are my boys. That's what I bring to the table most of the time.
Makes sense.
If you want some air mobile fun with a whole bunch of helicopters hopping all over the board, you can bring the Air Mobile Company. They also have more Milans than any other list put together in the whole Team Yankee. So if you like missile swarms, that's your go-to there. And then you've got the 2 recon options. The medium recce is your Scorpions and Scimitars light tanks, and then the wheeled one is the newer one with the super cute Foxes armored cars.
Yeah, some super cute Foxes. Oh,
yeah,
right.
They're tiny and they're cute, and yeah, they're awesome. But
all right.
But yeah, and then your support options, you've got artillery, anti-air, you've got some air options. You've got some pretty solid choices all around.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the Harrier. Does that come in on a better number?
Yeah, so the Harrier comes in on a 3+, the jump jet rule, because they could stage them out of supermarket parking lots and off of freeways. They could have them closer to the front lines, and so that's represented in your 3-up roll to bring them in.
Okay. And I'm gonna maybe just go on. And the Marksman, is that kind of like the Gepard?
The Marksman is basically a British Gepard. It's a vehicle that never really existed it was never fielded. The Marksman turret itself was created by a British company, and the British Army didn't buy it, but it's in use by I think Finland and a few other countries around the world right now. So the pieces exist, but they were never put together in this way and used by the British Army outside of maybe some trials.
Okay. Well, let's go kind of like one of the reasons that you'd want to play Team Yankee, which is the armor themselves. So I pulled up the Challenger and the Chieftain, and so you were telling me that the Challenger is the heavier, newer. Is it the shiny? Is it the shiny object?
It is the shiny new object, and unfortunately, with the timing of the release and everything coming out, we can't really get a good, solid idea yet of if it's going to work well, in a competitive setting. But it's freaking cool. It's armor 20 at the base model, or you can upgrade it to armor 21, which is the highest armored vehicle in the game so far. The majority of the anti-tank missiles that people can take are either AT-21 or AT-23. So if you've got an armor of 21, then you're basically immune to most of the anti-tank missiles. But because of that, they're very, very expensive. So one of the upgraded tanks is 13 points.
Okay.
So they come in units of 3, so that's 39 points per platoon. So if you take 2 units of 3 upgraded and an HQ upgraded, then that's basically all you've got in a 100-point list. It doesn't leave a lot of room for anything else.
Right. And so basically you'd have the same problem as a Tiger, like a mid-war Tiger list or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah, basically you just have the Tigers and that's it. So you'd have the Challengers and all, and that'd be it. Oh, what about the Chieftain?
So the Chieftain is kind of the older tank that they had. It's a little less armored, so it's a little cheaper. But again, it comes in units of 3, and then you can round out your formation with a lot of other good support. Now, both of the tanks, the Challenger and the Chieftain, they have the same kind of downside which is in Team Yankee, they're one of the few tanks that has a lower rate of fire when they move than if they're stationary. So they have 2 shots if they're stationary.
Walk and 2 bubble gum at the same time.
Say again, Joe?
Yeah, well, I mean, why can't they like walk and chew bubblegum at the same time?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, is there a historical thing for that, or do you know, or a
So
technical reason?
it might be the British. They use a two-piece ammunition in their tanks. So I think their rate of fire is a little bit lower um, than most of the other main battle tanks at the time.
Wait a minute, you mean they have the shell and the propellant are
Yep,
two different pieces? Well,
correct.
now they didn't do that in World War II, right?
Uh, I don't know. Did they?
I don't know. I think I've seen a 17-pound shell, but it has the propellant is with the shell, so that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that was safety or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I mean,
So that becomes especially bad whenever you've got a small number of elite tanks, and now you're having the number of shots that you have if you have to move.
right? Yes, I could see that. So, I kind of have a picture here of the two tanks. Though the Challenger looks pretty cool. It's kind of in the same shape or where they're going with like the Abrams and the updated layer Leo. I don't know. Kind of has. I guess it's kind of like they all have the same shape ish.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah, yeah, but it's definitely very British. Hey, okay. Hey, there's like a wrap around the barrel on these things.
Yeah,
Any particular reason why, or is that just camouflage?
yeah. That's so they call that it's like the thermal blanket or thermal sleeve. It's basically there. They find that without that, the barrel could heat up in strange ways. And maybe you've got the barrel in the sun or something. It warmed up and it changed the accuracy of the gun enough that they figured that if they put this thermal sleeve on there, it would keep it all the same temperature, and it would help with their long range accuracy.
Okay. All right. It's interesting. I guess a millimeter here is a couple feet down range, right?
Yeah, and the Challenger actually holds the record for the longest range kill with a tank from the first Gulf War.
Oh, all right. Do you know how long?
I believe it was something like 5 kilometers.
5 kilometers.
Yeah, it was a lot. That's about 3 miles in American.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, that some unlucky poor bastard. Hey, we're good. They're a long way away, and all of a sudden, this shell comes right on in.
Yep. Boom.
Yeah, that'd be like bad day. All right, that's cool. So what it sounds like from what you were telling me, I'm just kind of go back here, that maybe doing an armor list like at 100 points, maybe not the way to go, but more maybe an infantry list.
Yeah, certainly you'll face some challenges trying to make an armored list work at 100 points. You got to make some compromises elsewhere that you're not just it's not going to help you do too well.
Okay. All right.
In my experience, I should say, some people might be able to make it work, but I've never found it to be too successful.
All right. Well, then let's talk about the infantry. So I pulled up some of their weapons. So why don't you tell me about the? It seems like there's two main infantry. There's the whatever the F.
Yeah, so you've got the FV 432 company, and then you've got the Warrior mounted troops. And so the FV 432 is basically just a steel box with a machine gun on it. It's there to get you into battle safely, and it doesn't really give you a whole lot of support afterwards. The Warrior, on the other hand, they add a 30mm cannon on top. Yeah. And so they're able to do a bunch of fighting and help you out later. So, but consequently, they're much more expensive.
Well, the FV432 looks like it, kind of like a ripoff of what, an M113 or something, or is that it?
Yep, very similar.
Very similar. Yeah, basically a box with tracks. And then the Warrior looks like hey, they're taking this in a different direction. It basically looks like an attack support vehicle that holds some guys. Now between these two, the infantry that comes with them it's the same, right?
Yep.
So we'll go back here. Whoops, flipping around. So I was looking at the infantry weapons. Now, first of all, this is probably my favorite thing. This guy must have really been cool at parties. Carl Gustav, in his Recoilless rifle. I mean, what do you know about this bad boy?
I know that it's pretty deadly to tanks at close range.
Okay, yeah. I looked up a couple things just because it just intrigued me. Basically, this back cone part rolls out, and they put a shell in, kind of like a bazooka, roll it back, and then pull it. It's kind of like a really updated bazooka, though. Though I think the projectile is a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, I think this thing's been around for like over 20, 30 years or something like that. They just keep updating it. Also, doesn't Saab make this weapon?
They might. I know Saab is a pretty big, munitions manufacturer in Sweden. Make their tanks and airplanes too.
Then probably the most disappointing. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Step back. Hey, I got a question on the tanks.
Yeah.
Why do most of the British tanks begin with the letter C?
I don't know, Joe.
Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Churchill, Comet, these guys. Challenger, Crusader. I mean, there's other things that don't begin with C, but it's almost like, they were going through a baby name book and just got tired at C, and they're like, I'll do it. Let's go get something to eat.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mike Kelly has a question for you.
Okay. What's Mike Kelly's question?
All references say Cali is 50% faster than Chieftain across country. Why are they the same speed in the game?
So the reference says the
Challenger.
I guess the Challenger is 50% faster than the Chieftain.
Cross country.
Cross country. That means just in the dirt and stuff, not in the mud.
Why are they the same speed in the game?
I don't know. I would say Keith and I not to speak for you, Keith, but we didn't write the rules, right?
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, sometimes you just go, there's a couple things you're like, I know that was a lot faster.
Austin Copen said game balance, probably.
Hey, yeah.
Someone, Rich Bayer, gave the background on Carl Gustav.
Oh yeah, what's the background on the Carl Gustav?
He said from Wikipedia, the Carl Gustav Recoilless rifle, Swedish pronunciation, I can't do it, is an 84. Shoot, it's an 84 millimeter man portable reusable, and it doesn't say anything about him. It's mainly just it's basically about the gun.
About the gun.
Yeah, it's. Doesn't, and he gave a link to the Carl Gustav being fired, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
But yeah, he doesn't. We want to know about the guy.
You know what? I'd say women want to be with them and men want to be them. That's probably what was going on with that. I mean, like, hey, look what I made. I'm like, whoa. You know? Now, I'm going to say, see, the British usually have, very typically, they give very colorful names for their equipment. This next piece of equipment, I am very disappointed in the name. The GPMG, which, do you know what it stands for?
It stands for General Purpose Machine Gun, Joe.
Yeah, boo.
But it's more commonly known by the troops as the Gimpy.
The Gimpy?
The Gimpy.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, I could see that, the Gimpy. All right, but you know, it looks like it's a hybrid between some, you know, like a BAR and something that the Germans had in World War II.
Yep, it does.
Okay, all right. And then I know the same stands that have the Gimpy also has the 66 millimeter anti-tank. It kind of looks like a Laws rocket or something.
Yep, it's basically the same thing as a Law.
Okay. And then the other piece that they all have is the Milan.
Milan, darling, Milan.
Oh, that. And that thing, it seems like pretty much all NATO except the U.S. has these bad boys.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of the best things about the British infantry list. You can take plenty of Milans in there, and those are an AT-21 anti-tank missile, which is really solid, taking up the majority of what you're going to face.
Yeah. If you were doing a British infantry, about how many, like 100 points, but how many Milans could you field that you would say? Typically?
So you get 2 per platoon of infantry, and then you can take a unit of 4 to back them up. So typically in my lists, I have 8 Milan missiles, but you can add a 3rd infantry platoon for another 2 to get you to 10. They attach the Milans to helicopters, so you can take 4 of those for more, and then you can also get them strapped to the back of a light APC for another 4. So if you really wanted, you could load up very, very heavily on the Milan missiles.
Yeah, basically, I kind of envision the board just streams of smoke, and it'd be kind of like this, it's the British commander talking to the Russian commander. It goes, our Milans.
Milans, darling, Milans.
Will darken the sky, Yeah, then we fight in the shade. Yeah, I mean that's a lot. There's a couple of British players up here in Indianapolis, and it's like, man, Milans are everywhere, or Milans. Anyway, and
with this spread of weapons, Joe, the really interesting part about the British infantry is they've got really good anti-tank kind of at all ranges. You've got the Milan for your long range engagements, so they have a 36-inch range, so they can reach out and hit everything on the way in. The Carl Gustav has a 16-inch range with an AT of 17, so that's really respectable. And then it can also fire in defensive fire, which the Milan can't. So in defensive fire, you get the Carl Gustav and you get the Laws. So you've got a pretty good shot at stopping it at tank assault. So they really can defend themselves against armor at all ranges of the board.
Okay. Well, and then because you said the Gustav's is a 17, right?
Yep.
what's the average Russian side armor?
Side armor is around about it would be 10 against heat for most of the Warsaw Pact. The Russians, they get, for some of their tanks, they have the BDD armor, so it upgrades it to a 13. So it's either 10 or 13.
Well, at 10, the Gustav's going to go right through, and a 13, it's better than half.
Yep.
And what about NATO?
So depending on the tank, so the high-end ones, your Leopard 2s or your Abrams, they're a 16 on the side. But a lot of them are they get that same bazooka skirts for a 10.
Okay, so if you're Abrams or a Leo 2, just don't roll 1, right? So yes.
Austin asked, have you talked about the best Brit vehicle of all, the Scorpion? Is that coming?
Oh no, we haven't talked about the recon vehicles yet.
Okay, you're getting there. All right.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's pretty cool. But kind of with the we kind of introed in there. So we kind of briefly talked about the ride for the infantry, which is the very unimaginative name of FV 432. By the way, does the British infantry have the guys have a nickname for that?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm sure they do, but I just don't know it.
All right, we'll call it Hoopty. Okay, and and the Warrior.
See, if you wanted to, you could call the Warrior the FV 510, which was its designation.
Oh,
but Warrior sounds better.
FV for fighting vehicle.
Yep.
Oh, can't get anything past me. Okay, and then now the math. So I was doing a little bit of research. The infantry with the FV 432 is like the base is 7, and the Warrior is like 14.
Yes, it is a very expensive upgrade.
Okay, so which leads into the next question, or even Austin was alluding to. And then I was looking at Scorpions and the what we call it, the Sexy Foxes.
Yeah.
Both of them. What's the gun on those two? I know they're recon.
Well, so the Fox has the same gun as the Warrior, so it's a 30 millimeter cannon.
Okay.
And then the Scorpion has a 76 mil cannon on it. And you can also get the same vehicle called the Scimitar, which has the 30 millimeter cannon as well. But the Scorpion, so the 30 millimeter cannon is AT-10 with a rate of fire 3, but it's only got a firepower of 5 up, whereas the Scorpion has a rate of fire 2 if stationary and AT of 14 and a 2 up firepower.
Oh.
Someone said that the nickname was the Trojan for the FV 432, and they dropped it for prophylactic reasons.
Oh. Boo. Boo. All right. Well, so here's the thing. 4 Scorpions or 4 Foxes are what, 4 points, right?
Yeah, 3 for the Foxes and 4 for the Scorpions.
Okay. So now if you took the fighting vehicle 432, which was 7, and a Scorpion, which is also recon, for 4, you'd still have the same firepower if you took the Warrior at 14. Am I missing something?
So a couple of things. What you're missing is you can up armor the Warriors for 1 point for the platoon to give them a front armor of 13 versus heat.
Wait a minute, 13?
Yes, 13. So they have a base armor of 5, but against a heat weapon, it goes to 13.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, what's the Warsaw Pack? What's their main RPG? Isn't that? Oh, it's
So
like a 12, isn't it?
So the standard infantry base gets 12, but then the RPG stands, the 2-man RPG stands, is a 17.
Okay. Oh, all right. So you at least have a chance to survive.
Yep.
For a point. Oh, I see. But
and then the other thing as well is you get 5 of them in the unit.
5 of them versus 4.
Yeah.
But you're looking at 15 points then?
Yes. Plus, if you add the Milans, it comes out to, I think, 18 points for the full platoon versus 9 for the same size of the 432s.
Okay. So, yeah, okay. So, yeah, and I think, yeah, it looks like the RPG 17 is 17. So 17 versus a 13. Yeah, I mean, it might stay in there. I mean, of course, you got to get the guys firing at you and stuff. Maybe that's not so bad. That's interesting. I guess it's all about how you want to play. I mean, you'd have to worry about deep reserve. No, okay, so now is the Warrior the one that kind of caused the current controversy about it being a transport and this, that, and the other?
Yeah, because when you up armored, it goes to armor 5, which makes it count for deep reserves.
Okay, so then if you were in deep reserves for some bizarre reason, could you start the infantry out there without the Warrior?
You can, but then you're not allowed to bring him on.
Right. So that's a lot of points just to throw out there. So you're back to your base 7 that you threw out there for the base 15. So it's kind of like you're throwing 8 points out there that'll never show up on the table.
Yep.
If I'm reading that right. So, but then again, with the matrix that, just don't pick defend.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So if you're going to do that, you're going to be you're probably going to be an aggressive player.
Yep.
All right. I could see that. But if you had to choose now, the Scorpion is a recon vehicle, right?
Correct.
And so is the Fox.
Yep.
And the difference between the two is 1 point.
So for a platoon of 4, it's 4 points for the Scorpions or 3 points for the Foxes.
All right. So is it worth the 1 point to go to the Scorps?
I think it is. Yes. For a couple of reasons. First of all, the Foxes are kind of they're representing a territorial army unit, so the British version of the National Guard. So all of their ratings are worse. So they have a 5-up morale, they have a 4-up skill, and then just the vehicle itself, the mobility is not as good being a wheeled vehicle. So you kind of lose a lot for that 1 point. Whereas the Scorpion, you've got a little better armor, you've got better ratings, and you've got that lovely AT-14 gun with a 2-up firepower. It basically shreds anything that's not an MBT, just dies in droves to it. And then the other thing that you get is that within the formation of the Scorpions, the medium recce formation, you get access to a vehicle called the Striker. And that the Striker has got an AT-23 missile, which lets you stay ground to ground while you're shooting it. So that's really, I think, the main, one of the main reasons to stick with the medium recce or the Scorpions. Now, they do, as the recon vehicles for the British, they do have a special rule called sneak and peek.
Okay.
So sneak and peek sounds really good for recon, right? you want to be sneaky and you want to peek at stuff. But unfortunately, it's not there to help them. Because the turrets are small, it's a 2-man turret, so the commander of the vehicle also has to load the gun. So what they did is with sneak and peek is they say that if you want to fire your main gun, you can only move a maximum of 6 inches tactical speed. So it really slows them down.
Okay. Yeah, that is a handicap.
Yeah, and with that, then so with your 3-up skill for your Scorpions, you've got a reasonable chance of blitzing, so you can get back to that 10-inch move. But with the Foxes, with their 4-up skill, that then becomes even worse. So it's harder to get that blitz off, so it slows them down even more.
Oh, all right. I thought they were the wonder weapons, but yeah, they got a little bit of a handicap.
Yep, a little bit. But they do have, so the Scorpion has a cross-country dash speed of 28 inches.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so they can get basically wherever you want them on a dash, and then you move slower fighting in between.
Okay. And you can have a swarm of them, right?
You can get a swarm of them. The formation lets you take 3 units of them. So I like to bring a full formation of 3 units of them with the strikers for the missiles.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Hold on, let me go back to the list. So the strikers, I don't see them there.
So it's inside, yeah, so it's similar to the swing fire. So the swing fire troop here is the same missile, but it's mounted on the back of a 432 instead of the Spartan, which is the same chassis as the Scorpion.
All right. And the swing fire, it's anti-tank at what?
23.
23. Okay,
23. And yeah, and it's got the added bonus of it lets you stay gone to ground when you shoot it.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yep. Yes, it is.
All right. Yeah, 23. And do they come in 3s or 4s?
So the swing fires come in 3s, the strikers come in 4s.
All right. And the swing, how many points for a set of 3 swing fires?
I'm not sure, but the strikers are 10 points for 4.
Oh, so you think the swing fire is a little bit more?
I think it's a little bit less for 3 of them. Hold on, I do have the book.
Okay.
Let me see.
And when it looks that up,
swing fire is 6 points for 3.
6 points for 3, and that's for an AT of 23.
Yes.
Wow, and it has the gone to ground if you shoot.
Correct.
Oh wow, gee whiz. Well, with some of the heavy armor out there, that's kind of a go-to.
Yeah. Yep. Especially with all the tier 1 tanks starting to come out, you want to try to make sure you've got at least 1 unit in there with the AT-23.
Well, okay. So, speaking of that, what is your go-to unit when you put a list together? What is your go-to unit?
My go-to unit?
Yeah.
My go-to unit is this guy right here.
Harrier.
Harrier, yeah. So the Harrier, it uses the salvo template, and it's got an AT of 8 against top armor and a firepower of 3+. So it's really even your heaviest main battle tanks, although they added armor to the front and the sides, they didn't add any more armor to the top. So there's still top armor of 2 against your AT of 8.
All right. Yeah, but and they show up on 3, so there's a good chance to get in. And you can have 4 of them, right?
Yep, it's for 4.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
It's almost cheating.
Almost cheating.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt said, but you can only get the swing fire in the tank companies, not the infantry.
Correct.
That's interesting. Why would you need more anti-tank with a tank company when the infantry needs the anti-tank? You know, who am I to question British military doctrine of 300 plus years? Okay, all right. Well, all right. So the air. How many flights of the? All right. How many? You can get one flight of the.
Yep, just one flight.
All right. And what about the helicopters?
So the helicopters are it's the Lynx Helicopter, and you can get a unit of 4 with Milan missiles for 12 points. So they have the NATO hunter killer rule, so they can move and stay on the ground as long as they're concealed, and they can get concealment if they're within 4 inches of terrain.
But it's not only 4 inches of. Help me out on that. The kind of
sure. So the concealment for aircraft. You can be concealed from a unit if that unit is within 4 inches of terrain. So if you put your AA in the middle of woods, then every aircraft is going to be concealed from that unit, right? If you put your AA unit in the open, then the aircraft are not going to be concealed from that AA unless there's some terrain between the AA and the aircraft within 4 inches. And what the hunter-killer rule is, it gives that 4 inches to the aircraft. So if your helicopter is within 4 inches of terrain and it's got the hunter-killer rule, then it gains concealment as well.
Now, but does the line of sight still need to pass through the terrain?
Yes.
Okay. So if it did not pass, if the AA was on the same side as the aircraft and the terrain was on the other side, not interposed anyway, between the two, and so it wouldn't get the hunter killer.
Correct.
All right. Which what just gives it a what's it give it, a gone to ground, or?
Yeah, it lets it be concealed, and then they get to stay gone to ground when they move.
When they move. Oh, okay. So they can be sneaky to get there, stay gone to ground, and unfortunately they can't fire, so they're setting up their shot.
Correct.
Right.
And that's the downside to the Lynx and a lot of the other NATO missile-armed helicopters is they can't move and fire. So you have to spend a turn if you bring it up. If you put them in reserve, or you've got a meeting engagement where they have to start off the board, then you have to spend a turn moving them on and setting it up for next turn.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like what the Hind could come right on in and start just obliterating, destroying things.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, what about let me go back to here on the support options.
Mm-hmm.
Boop, boop, boop. Yeah. Well, I know there's some of these have there's Bang again. You have the Abbott and the 109. What's the difference between those two for artillery?
Yeah, so the Abbott has it's a lighter gun. It's a 105 versus a 152. So it's cheaper, but it's not as good. It's only got a firepower of 4+, whereas the M109 has a 2+.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
It is, but the Abbott can be it is inside of your formation, so it adds to your formation morale, and it's cheaper. So you tend to see a lot more Abbotts fielded for British than M109s.
Okay, that makes sense. Plus, you gotta love the name. How about it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Lou, how many times I tell you there are no Russians around here? Yeah. Bop, 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 bop. Anyway. Oh, by the way, the FOO, which is a forward observation something. What?
Officer? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Or is he a fighter? Foo fighter? Anyway. Then okay, so we were talking about, so let's talk about the anti-air. So you you got the strangest names, a blowpipe, a rapier, and the fictitious marksman that we were talking about.
Yeah. So
what's the go-to AA?
Yeah. So right here is the Rapier.
The Rapier.
So the Rapier missile, it's the best. It's the best single AA unit in the game at killing aircraft.
Okay.
So each of them is a rate of fire 3. It's got a 64-inch range and a 3-up firepower.
All right, the 3-up's good. Well, how's that compared to, say, the blowpipe?
So the blowpipe is a rate of fire 2, and I think it's a 4+ for anti-air work.
Okay,
Let me double check here. Yeah, it's a 4+. So you can get 4 blowpipes and 4 rapiers for the same point cost. The difference is your blowpipes have a profile that lets them shoot at ground targets.
Okay. Oh, so you can shoot at some ground targets. The other one has a better to kill aerial.
Yeah.
By the way, is the rapier armored or a?
Yep. It's armored one.
Okay. And the chieftain. Oh no, sorry. The marksman. Let me guess. 5 rate of fire 5, staying still, 4 on the move. Is it anti-tank 11?
Yep.
And 4+.
Yep. Correct. Again, this is a new unit with the new book, and so it's kind of too early to say. That might overtake the rapiers. Certainly, I think at low point battles it will, because then if your opponent doesn't bring air, you get to use it against something. But I don't think it'll replace the rapier, at killing aircraft. I guess the other good thing about the Chieftain is that it's very well armored. It's front armor 6 with a side armor of 3. And so that's well armored for AA.
That's very well armored for an AA. I think Gephardt's a 3-2-1.
Yep.
So, what about mortars with the infantry?
Yeah, so the infantry, you take a unit of mortars based on the 432. You get 2 of them for a point. So your unit of 4 costs you 2 points, or you can get a unit of 8 for 4 points.
Oh, all right. What's the firepower? 4 or 3?
I only ever usually fire them for smoke, so I'll have to look it up.
Now,
it is a 4+ firepower.
4+ firepower.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Not bad. So, and you always recommend the Hawk or Harriers for your support.
Yep.
And then, do you recommend the Lynx at all, or?
No, I haven't had a lot of success with those. All
right.
Yeah, there's better ways to get Milans.
Oh, okay, right. You have so many other options for Milans. I maybe if they were like anti-tank 23 or something.
Yeah.
And I guess won't leave it out. The MLRS medium rocket battery.
Yeah, so those are again a new piece of kit that came out with the new book. So they give you the salvo template,
Right.
but they only have a 5-up firepower.
Oh, okay. Are they armored or are they just a 5-up save?
They are armored, and each one counts as 2 weapons. For the number firing. So a unit of 2 will count as 4 for firing your template.
That's interesting. So, okay. So I think we pretty did we miss anything? Unit wise.
We covered most of the basics. Most of the basics in there.
Okay. So what for when if you're gonna be attacking with British, and you're gonna build a list, and you said you just want to be aggressive, what are you thinking? What kind of list would you put together? What would you recommend to someone that was building a list for British and wanted to attack?
So I think I'll start it off by saying, as I play my British, I prefer a defensive stance with them. For attacking, especially with the infantry, you kind of, you really have to use smoke. You have to use terrain. You've got to get up there. Bring some spearhead, some recce to get you closer, because recce wins games, right?
Yes, it does.
Put your Milans in an Overwatch position, and then move up with the rest of your platoons. You've got lots of MG fire you can bring, lots of good close-in anti-tank to help knock people off of objectives. And then all that fast recon, you can head up the board looking for side shots or killing off things like artillery and anti-air, which will open up everything else for you.
Okay, so hold on, let me think about this. So on the Scorpion, which is a anti-tank 13?
14, yeah.
14, is that heat?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So then, so depending on the tank, against a Soviet tank, that's pretty good against a 10, right?
Yep.
So I'm learning.
Yeah, you're listening.
Yeah, that's part of dialogue, is to be able to listen. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, it sounds like you kind of do a little bit more defending or defensive list. So, what would you recommend for a defensive list? How would you approach that with the British?
So again, infantry, they're hard as nails. Dig them in on objective. Overwatch with the Milans. Again, you've got your recon vehicles, which kind of do the same job. They go off on their own little attack to try and get to the rear areas and kill off the squishy things. And then that opens the way up for your Harriers to come in and clean up the massed Soviet tanks in front of you.
Okay.
And it's kind of better to, I find, keep the Harriers in reserve to give yourself a turn or two to take care of the AA before you bring them on.
No, that's good. That's clear the way for the Harriers to do their job. What about things like Russian swarms, or what is your the BMPs and that kind of crap that's like there's all over the place?
Yeah, so against BMPs, the British recce vehicles are really good. So you've got your AT-14 Scorpions, you've got your Scimitars, which are rate of fire 3 with an AT of 10, so they shred them pretty good as well. And then Milans will kill all that stuff, and a giant salvo template from the Harrier nothing really stands up well against that. So all the same tools that work, against the Russian main tanks, they work well against the BMPs as well.
But say you have like an Abrams or even another British player or West German player. How do you handle the top of the line mainline battle tank?
Yeah, those get a little tougher, but again, I'm kind of like an echo here. The Harrier is your workhorse. That 8 against the top of 2, it really it makes a mess of everything. Aside from that, you've got your AT-23 missiles, so your strikers or your swing fires, and you can then look for side shots as well, potentially with Milans, or you can send your scimitars. If you take some of those, they can do some damage against side armor as well.
Okay, so yeah, it sounds like take out the AA, have your smaller units take out the AA, and then have your Harriers take out the mainline battle tanks.
Yep.
So okay, so it sounds pretty formulaic, but that's cool. I like that. And it's all about then executing, right?
That's right.
Now, is British is it a good nationality to mix with another NATO unit? Maybe and have the British as a primary with a secondary NATO unit, or
So what recently I've been having a lot of fun with running a British recon formation. So Scorpions with the Strikers in there, and then bringing the Rapiers and Harriers for the British support, but then bringing an Australian Leopard 1 formation to go with it.
Oh, an Australian Leopard 1.
Yep.
Why the Australian?
It's exactly the same points as the Canadian Leopard 1, but you have a 3-up assault number instead of a 4-up for the Canadians.
Oh, is the gun still brutal?
Yep, it's still brutal. It's still rate of fire 2 on the move. AT-19.
Why is it the same amount of points? Yeah, okay, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. We didn't write the rule. We didn't put the. Yeah, okay, I got you. All right, so yeah, so pound for pound, that's the way to go.
Yep,
I got you. That's cool. Question?
Actually, I don't know if Keith wants to answer that because he might give himself away. So, what is Keith thinking of bringing to the TY Masters?
Oh, yeah, I was. Oh, hey, I was purposely staying away
he
from
probably doesn't
that.
want to answer that question.
Yeah, and of course Sherman's making his appearance. say hello. Anyway,
if you've listened to the last few minutes or last half hour, then you can probably make a pretty educated guess.
Yeah, I was putting a couple things together, but I wasn't pointing things out. Oh, okay, he's taking this. He's taking an aircraft that begins with the letter H. I'm not giving away anything,
Well, Igor actually had a question for me. I said, how do you mitigate repeat bombardments when you're leaning on Milans?
How do you mitigate repeat bombardment
when you're leaning on Milans?
Oh, I see. So you're as a British player, you have a lot of Milans, but someone's ranged in. Keith?
Yeah, so really it's the same answer as for everything else. As attacking the AA, you basically send your recon off to try and deal with the artillery in the backfield. Or you can use your own abbots to do some counter battery fire. It doesn't really change the way to do it. It just, it bumps the artillery up the target priority list a little bit. Before in version 1 of the rules, the artillery, they were like the last thing you went after. You didn't really care too much, but now they moved up a little higher. Now it's AA first and then artillery. In terms of the Harriers, that's the job they have.
Yeah. Okay. So you would use your Abbots as counter battery?
You can.
All right. Yeah.
They're not great counter battery, but there's some counter battery.
All right. Well, then, or a well placed Harrier salvo.
Yep.
I don't know. I go in flames. Depending on the situation, like, okay, am I just gonna, put my big boy pants on and just take it, or
so sometimes you do have to just take it, but in Team Yankee, there's a few rules that make that harder to do. You've got the artillery with the autoloaders. So the autoloaders is a +1 to hit, right? So now I'm hit on 4s usually. With the autoloaders, now it's a +1, so I'm hit on 3s. And most artillery with autoloaders has a firepower of 2+. So now I'm hit on 3s. I'm re-rolling my saves, and a 2+ kills me. Yeah, I don't want to stay under that.
So you're moving.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, of course, the French have to be there, right?
The French or the Iraqis.
Oh, because they have French equipment?
Yep.
Oh, those frogs sell to anyone, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and even the Soviets, the Warsaw Pact, they can get a very similar deal with they can take 6 of their artillery pieces in a unit for not a whole lot of points, and they're re-rolling the hit. So now I'm a 4+. They're re-rolling misses, and then I'm re-rolling saves. So again, that's not somewhere I want to be. So
right.
They've got to be taken care of.
So now, say if I was a NATO player and if I was looking at British as support, like maybe I'm a West German player or something like that. What would you have your recommendations there?
Probably I'd look at the recon formation. Well, don't play West Germans first of all. Yeah, that goes without saying. But I think the recon formation would be a good one to pair with it. You've got the AT-23 missiles to back it up, but then you've got the Scorpions and Scimitars, which the Germans, their equivalent is really a Leopard 1, which is a lot more expensive. Moves fast and can kill stuff in the backfield. So you can get Scorpions and Scimitars to go do that job for you.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, I see that. And if for the new British players out there, what would you recommend? Say, or someone who wants to start a British Army, what would you recommend? How to start off?
So I think the infantry. It's hard to go wrong with the infantry. Start off with the infantry. You don't even really have to buy the transports initially, because the 432 transports, it's really just a machine gun, to back up your infantry. So if you had to play the game and leave those off the table, it's not that big of a loss.
Okay.
So start off with the infantry. Pick up some of the support choices like the Rapiers. A single unit of Rapiers can shut down most aircraft that are coming on. Then I think go for some Scorpions or Scimitars. The infantry formation, you can take 1 unit of Scimitars as part of the formation. So that's a good way to start with those, and then you can build onto that later if you want to go the mech, the medium recce route.
All right. Okay, well, that's a good. Is there like any particular box or box set that they could start off with that you think of, or how about like the British new box set? Is that a good place to start?
So the new box set has got a very strange mix of units in there.
Okay.
you end up. I think it's 5 chieftains and 5 challengers and 2 chieftains, and that doesn't really make such a good base for a force. But it's ridiculously cheap. The price for the box, the price per tank is way lower than if you try to buy them individually. So it's a good way to start that way. And you get some warriors, you get some foxes, and some helicopters as well. So, it's a good way to get a lot of stuff cheap. But like I said, I'm not so sure that the challengers is really going to be a very competitive way to build a list.
Okay.
But I could be wrong because we haven't got to play it a lot yet.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, it's true. All right. Well, I'm out of questions, and which then I'm going to go to the audience. You guys out there, why don't you guys go ahead and prime up your what did we learn today? And by the way, in all seriousness, we did discuss a lot. So you hit us up with what you got, what you learned. Then my lovely producer wife will read those off. But I guess I know one thing. Preparing for it, I learned a few things. I learned the car Gustav is made by a car company.
Well, do you want some questions?
Oh yeah. Well, okay, we'll prepare that. We'll take some questions and also prepare your.
What did we learn today?
Yeah, prepare what you learned today. So
I'm kind of scrolling backwards. So
okay.
So Alan Sheridan asks, do you smoke to cover AA assets so your aircraft can come in? Does that make the AA/SAM unit unable to target the aircraft?
Sure. So the smoke it counts as tall terrain as far as the anti-aircraft is concerned. So you can use it to give you concealment against the anti-aircraft, but it doesn't block them completely.
Okay.
Now, the best way of protecting your aircraft from the anti-air is to attack it.
I know the answer. You kill it, right?
You kill it. Well, that's one way. But if you can't kill it, Joe, then try to have it be nighttime, because the anti-air only has a 24-inch, maximum 24-inch range. And so you can easily stay outside of that and hit something cool with your big template, then you're not going to be able to be targeted. And because your air leaves the table, so it moves and then comes back again next time, it doesn't automatically get seen by everything. So yeah, that's one way to keep them safe.
All right. So, but if you're defending, you'll get that option of nighttime that too often.
It's the attacker gets to choose. They get to choose, or they get to choose daytime or roll a dice.
Okay.
Chris Grau asks, what is Keith's least favorite army to play against?
Oh, my least favorite army to play against is probably the BTR infantry. I hate those things.
Yeah, there's a lot of anti-19 guns out there with a 3-up save, and you have a lot of vehicles that they could hit.
Yep.
I could see that.
Yeah, and then you've got a swarm of the APCs with their AT5 machine gun. You just throw them away, run them at an objective that you don't care about, and I have to waste time killing them so I can get on to killing the stuff that I really want to deal with.
Right.
This one is totally off topic. Do you want it?
Sure. Yeah, there's nothing that we won't venture into.
Okay. Kevin Morris. Kevin Morris wants to know, Keith, what is your favorite potato? Classic like russet or more exotic like Yukon Gold?
Oh man, there's so many choices here, but I can go even more exotic. There's a type of potato in Ireland called a Cairns pink, which has a kind of a pink colored skin. That's my favorite.
Okay.
All right. How would you prepare that? Well, how's that normally prepared?
You peel it and you boil it, and then you put some butter on
Like
it.
everything else in Ireland. Sorry.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I'm teasing him. I'm just teasing him.
Oh, so lettuce, boil it. Yeah, carrots, boil it. Potatoes, boil it. Meat, boil it. Yeah, okay. All right. I see a theme. Okay.
I'm just teasing him.
Yeah, it's all right. Any other questions out there?
I'm trying to scroll here. Okay. No. Okay. We got what we learned today is primarily what we got here.
Okay. What did people learn?
I learned that Keith needs a haircut. That's from Patrick Blue.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Rich Bayer says, "What I learned, I hate Brits." Eric Deutsch said, "I learned that your guest is a super nice guy, and I wished I lived in Minnesota. Other than that, not much."
Oh no, that he's a nice guy through editing.
Tom Gall said, "Lots of good gaming in Minnesota."
Yeah, that's.
There is.
I think it's pretty much it. Nobody else has anything else that they learned? Come on, guys. Yeah. Oh, actually, Alien Trade actually had. Oh, wait, no, I already asked that question. Never mind.
Okay.
Some people were mentioning Danas.
Danas? What's a Dana?
D-A-N-A.
Yeah, Dana is an artillery unit that the Czechs and the Poles have. Oh. It also has autoloaders.
Oh, okay. So that gets the +1 to hit.
Yep.
All right, very good.
Okay, Owen McGarrell says he learned that Harriers are the bomb. Sorry. And Alan Sheridan says, I learned that the GPMG has a bombardment template.
It does?
Yeah.
So it does in the... so you can take 2 GPMG stands as part of the HQ and attach them out to the infantry platoons, and they get to have a bombardment template. So it's either 1 or 2 guns, and the nice thing about that is part of the HQ, they have a 2+ skill. So they can range in on a 2, but it's only 1 or 2, so you're re-rolling your hits always. So.
Mike Kelly has a question for you.
Go for it.
Would you use 3 challengers or 6 chieftains?
That is a really good question, and I think it remains to be seen what the answer is. I think if I'm, it's a little bit different answer if I'm attacking or defending as well. If I'm defending, I'd probably take the 6 chieftains. If I'm attacking, I'd probably take the 3 challengers.
Okay. Are they about the same amount of points?
Yes. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Rich Bear says that Facebook just said his comment about the Brits was hate speech. And he was only kidding. He was.
All right. Any questions there, Sherman? Okay. Anyway, none from him. All right. Looks like we're going to wrap up, which then we need to do this out the same way we came in. So
we should thank him.
Oh, hey, Keith, thank you for, where's my manners? Keith, thank you for joining us. This was enjoyable, and I am planning to do this again. With obviously with someone else. I got to put the invitation out there and see if they're available, and talk about another nationality. What is interesting about this one is my wife is a Anglophile, right?
You called me an Anglophobe. Really.
No, it's Anglophobe.
English.
Yeah, Anglophile. Yeah, she loves. She's into Sherlock Holmes in a major way. and has written 2 books.
Mm-hmm. 2 pastiches.
2
Sherlock Holmes pastiches. Yeah.
pastiches. There's a whole terminology for the Sherlock Holmes genre, and
I direct Shakespeare plays.
And she directs Shakespeare plays, right? And it's also is an English teacher for English Lit. So, yeah. Matter of fact, you're doing Henry V.
Probably next fall.
Probably, yeah.
Because we were going to do it this fall, but we can't.
Yeah, I was right. Yeah, they were going to do it's a children's production, or they're not really
youth
children.
Production.
It's
no,
a youth. They're not children.
It goes from age 10 up to age 25. So, we've got an interesting range there. Some of the older ones are the ones that do the main roles.
Right, 10 to 25. Still kids, anyway. They were going to do Henry V this year, but they got canceled because because you would begin rehearsal real soon, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that can't happen. Anyway, so she's all into that. But you want? Why don't you go ahead, play us out?
Play you out? Okay. Rule Britannia.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
There we go. God save the Queen.
What? Come on. Oh, there you go. They're like, there we go.